Half-Life 3 just got a ton of leaks, and no, this isn't a meme. It's not another Half-Life 3 confirmed. Punchline, because according to the most trusted insiders and data miners within the Valve community, people with proven track records, it actually seems like the wait may finally be over. For years, the story of Gordon Freeman has been trapped in amber, ending on a cliffhanger that has tormented an entire generation. And now, that same community is pointing towards an unbelievable conclusion. Half-Life May 3rd be coming, and its reveal could be just around the corner. In this video, I'll be breaking down all of the credible leaks, the insiders that have been talking, and the hard data that suggests Half-Life 3 is indeed real. Before we dive into the new stuff, we first have to appreciate the weight of this conversation. We're talking about Half-Life 3. It's been 18 years since Half-Life Episode 2 came out in 2007, and the ending of that game, that one moment kicked off one of the longest and most agonizing waits in the history of video games. The community has been pretty starved for any information, clinging to the hope that often dissolved into fan theories, fake leaks, and the global meme, Half-Life 3 confirmed. For years, that phrase was indeed a punchline, a symbol of endless hope, in the face of an absolute crushing silence from Valve. Since then, they've done some pretty awesome things, but the one thing the world desperately wanted and needed, they refused to even talk about it. But that silence was finally broken in 2020 with a new Half-Life game called Alyx. It was a stunning VR title that proved that Valve hadn't forgot about the franchise, but it was a prequel. It wasn't a continuation of the story that we'd all been waiting for so long. Its ending, though, changed everything. It wasn't just a prequel, it was a bridge. They rewrote the timeline and explicitly set the stage for a new, direct continuation of Gordon's story. So for many, that ending made a promise, and now all signs suggest that Valve might be finally ready to deliver. So what makes this time different? Well, the recent buzz starts with two names that carry a lot of weight in the community, Gabe Follower and Tyler McVicker. These aren't just random people, they are seasoned data miners with a history of being correct. Tyler McVicker was one of the first to report on Half-Life Alyx, and Gabe Follower has correctly leaked details about Valve's hero shooter that's called Deadlock. For months, both have been adamant that a new Half-Life game, allegedly codenamed HLX, is in active development. This trail of breadcrumbs started with code data mined from updates to other Valve games like Dota 2 and Counter-Strike 2. In these updates, there were repeated references to HLX, showing that the shared engine components that have no place in the multiplayer shooter are there. Leakers have pointed to mentions of an HEV suit. They reportedly renamed the Burbank suit in the files, and even some of the creatures. But this is where the claims got even bigger. Leakers began reporting that the game wasn't just a concept, but it was actively being playtested inside Valve. According to Gabe Follower, these playtests have allegedly expanded to include friends and families of employees, which is a stage in development that often happens when a game is on its final push towards an announcement. The most significant rumor came in May of 2025, with a claim that the game is playable from start to finish. This is obviously unconfirmed, but just the idea that the complete version might exist is a staggering thought. Further data mines suggest that this isn't just a simple continuation. Files reportedly point towards incredibly advanced new tools for the Source 2 engine, hinting at hyper-realistic vehicle systems, dynamic weather, and even a potential semi-open world structure. Now all of the leaks and data mine information is one thing, but now the clues are spilling out into the open, right on Steam itself. If you look at Valve's developer page on Steam, it actually lists their upcoming releases. As of mid-November 2025, 4 of them are publicly known: the new multiplayer game Deadlock, the just-announced Steam controller, the Steam Frame VR headset, and the new Steam Machine console. But there's a 5th item. And it's categorized only as a game, and it's completely hidden, which has fueled speculation that the unlisted game is indeed HLX, and it's all just sitting on the back end waiting for its grand reveal. Now, of course, this could just be a random bug, but the other odd behavior from Valve has only added to the theory. For weeks, the main featured banner on the Steam store page had been mysteriously empty, which I guess that can be explained because perhaps this is mainly because they were just about to announce the new hardware and they wanted to keep that as the banner. And as I just went to the store page right now, they have the Valve stuff as the banner. But prior to this, they were clearly setting up and preparing for this big announcement. But again, according to the previous leaks, the announcements haven't stopped yet. There have been so many industry insiders that have basically stated that there is more to come. This is not even the big announcement yet. Now, as you guys know, if we look historically, Valve loves to launch new hardware with a killer new game. The original Steam VR headset launched alongside Half-Life Alyx, giving everyone a powerful reason to adopt the new tech. Well, just a few days ago, Valve officially announced a new suite of hardware launching in early 2026. We have the new VR headset called the Steam Frame VR. There is the new Steam controller, but there's also something brand new, and that is the Steam Machine. This of course has me wondering, is this next game Half-Life 3 or HLX meant to be a Steam VR game? Or will it be mainly for the Steam Machine as a competitor to console gaming? And this is where I started really thinking about it. Obviously Half-Life Alyx was a VR title, but it wasn't for everyone. Mainly because it was limited to the VR headset until the No VR headset mod came out that allowed players to experience Half-Life Alyx without that VR headset. But now that they're launching a Steam Machine, basically a competitor to the, Series X and PlayStation 5, it only makes sense for them to have a system seller for that. What better way to convince people to buy a Steam Machine than to release Half-Life 3 on it? I mean, if you remember the popularity of the Orange Box, they released Half-Life Episode 2 on console. Well, now that they're releasing a console and a VR headset, what if HLX enables players to play the game however they want? What if this supposed new Half-Life 3 game can be played both on keyboard and mouse and Steam Deck on controller, but there's also a VR mode? Obviously, this seems like a technical disaster, but I think Valve definitely has the ability to stick the landing. There's a lot of games nowadays that are FPS shooters and just, first-person RPGs that do have VR modes that are incredibly successful. So I think this might be Valve's attempt to give us both. Let players play how they want to play and give people a reason to pick up this new hardware and play the new Half-Life game however they want. Now, when could this new game finally be announced? That kind of brings us to the actual date itself. November 19th marks the 27th anniversary of the original Half-Life game. For years, the community has pointed to this date as a symbolic and really powerful moment for a potential reveal. While it is purely speculation, the timing is hard to ignore with insiders like Tyler McVicker stating that he expects an announcement within the next 2 or 3 weeks. All signs are pointing to this anniversary being the perfect place to reveal this thing. All of the data mined information, the brand new hardware, and the fan prophecies are starting to align. But now we have to ask ourselves, is Half-Life 3 actually confirmed? We've been hurt before. For over a decade, every blurry screenshot and vague comment was hailed as the one. It was the thing that was happening. End of discussion. Half-Life 3 confirmed. Big Pog, we are finally going to play Half-Life 3. So I think being skeptical of this whole situation isn't just warranted, it's necessary. Obviously, none of the stuff is confirmed until Valve says it is. But I won't lie, this time does feel different. We aren't dealing with a single anonymous 4chan post. We have multiple credible data miners and journalists corroborating the same basic story. We have the project's codename, the technical details and features. But most importantly, we have the official announcement of a new hardware ecosystem that needs a system-selling game. And of course, we have the narrative setup of Half-Life Alyx, which gave Valve the perfect runaway to finally bring Gordon Freeman back. You know the term, if there's smoke, there's fire? Well, I think there's a lot of fire in this situation. All of the evidence from a multitude of different independent sources all pointing to the same direction. Half-Life 3 confirmed, baby. And it's because of that, it feels like the question is no longer if a new Half-Life game will be revealed, but it's when. And the answer seems to be very, very soon. But what do you guys think? Is the wait finally over? Is Half-Life 3 confirmed? Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section. Hit the like button and subscribe with your notice on. This has been James, and I will talk to you guys again soon.